Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome! Clowns have played a key role in many comic books, from serving as the key villain as in the Violator from Spawn, or DC's Harley Quinn, and the Clown Prince of Crime himself. So, seeing as I have a huge and kind of weird obsession, and also the fact that I have one living in my closet kind of intrigues me to take a look at some of the biggest clowns in comics. So that being said, let's start with Obnoxio the Clown. Crazy Magazine was Marvel Comics' way of doing their own version of Mad Magazine satire-style magazines that were made from 1973 until 1983. This magazine had a mascot of a short bug-eyed man with a hat and draped in a black cape named the Nebbish, debuting in issue number 9, being renamed Irving Nebbish later on. By 1979, Larry Hama became editor and felt the mascot needed something more, and Obnoxio the Clown was born, in order to create something more provocative, in order to be different than all of the other humor-related mascots. Obnoxio would appear in a single-page gag in What If 34, and once Crazy was canceled in 1963, Marvel would create a one-shot comic with multiple stories surrounding that character, one of which surrounded the X-Men and evil ice cream. So let's take a look at that one-shot that Marvel actually produced.
Step right up, wonders of the world and the not so plausible. Look what we've got under the big top.
Our cover focuses on the X-Men surrounding that clown while he holds an unconscious Shadowcat in his arms while breaking the fourth wall and addressing the reader directly, which showcases the character's way of comedic banter and screwed up humor. Hiya, kids! What's yellow and black and don't breathe no more? Do you think that was Barry after he finally pollinated Vanessa? Yes, I just made a B-movie reference. Sue me. The comic starts with the first story, Something Slimy This Way Comes, with Obnoxio being dropped off at the X-Mansion by a taxi that wants his tip. You want a tip? Don't bet on horses. Bet on which politician's gonna destroy the country more! However, while Obnoxio is talking to himself, we see a dark figure hiding behind a tree with some plans of his own. We then go to Professor X, who has been notified of a mutant presence on the grounds. Charles is concerned about who the intruder is, hoping it doesn't affect his party plans for Kitty, and Cerebro explodes, though, causing Charles to become unconscious as Cyclops runs in to check on him, being grateful that he's still alive. You know, while I am glad you're alive, the Scott Summers School of Gifted Youngsters is starting to sound really nice. As Cyclops breaks his spine, he sets up security measures that will pull that welcome mat out from Obnoxio's feet as the X-Men rush in to see what's going on. Meanwhile, our villain shows that his powers can turn himself into ice cream, calling himself I Scream. And I thought I Guy from Power Rangers was a bad pun. The X-Men attack Obnoxio, but our clown is quick with a bag of tricks, including a unicycle, hand buzzer, and sneezing powder. But while all of that happens, Ice Cream finds the danger room, controls, and attacks the clown from behind, pulling him into the danger room itself. Obnoxio then fights for his life as the danger room shoots out fire, lasers, spikes, and a flood. Poor old Obnoxio, we barely knew ye. Wolverine helps bust open the danger room, making Obnoxio flop around like a fish, having survived by wrapping a rubber chicken around his face. Wolverine then goes to fillet a clown, but Professor X mentally stops him, demanding the group to meet him. The professor then reveals what's really going on as we learn Ice Cream has somehow been frozen solid, and that Obnoxio was actually there to be a party clown for Kitty, much to her delight. Have you ever wondered if Shadowcat from the X-Men has a clown fetish? Well, now you have! However, though, Obnoxio is actually pissed off over how he's been treated, and after he puts the cherry on the ice cream sundae, he tells the X-Men to shove off and ends the story, leaving the X-Mansion. So, normally I would cover every page in a comic review, but the last two stories for this are really kind of boring, and honestly, they're not worth reading, so I personally don't even feel like they're worth mentioning, and just this one specific story with the X-Men is worth reading out of the comic. That being said, it's my show and I'm gonna do what I want, so... Crazy would cease production in 1983 for 94 issues, but Obnoxio himself would reappear in issues 13 and 24 of What If, an issue of Deadpool Back in Black, and he would also have a cameo in Hulk and the Agents of Smash, being voiced by John DiMaggio. He also is the enemy chasing down Wolverine in his first level of Spider-Man and the X-Men Arcade's Revenge, which I wish I knew this when I reviewed the game a couple of years ago. The character has yet to be revived in any other medium. And as I said, the other two stories are not really worth reading, so this comic is honestly as good as something like this would go. You're turning a comedic satire into a serious character, so you got what you get. So, that being said, next week we're going to look at clown hookers. That is what I just said. I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.